All right, let's jump right in. We're going to try and get our heads around the really complex, kind of messy world of online information threats. And we're going to do it with a powerful new concept that's designed to bring some much needed clarity to all the chaos. So let's start with the core problem. When you and I talk about foreign interference or disinformation online, we hit this massive roadblock almost immediately. We don't have a shared language. And if you can't even agree on what to call something, it's incredibly hard to fight back effectively. You might be reading a report, for example, and see a name like Doppelganger pop up, which is an operation that's often tied to Russia. Then, in a totally different report, you'll see Spamiflage, which is a huge network pushing pro-Chinese narratives. And then you might run into a name like Lacta, and this is where it gets really messy, because that term is used to describe both the technical tools and the secret organization behind them. It's these different ways of naming things that really starts the confusion. Right, so what's the big deal? Well, the issue is that different organizations are using different words for the exact same thing. What one group calls an operation, another calls a campaign or a network. And look, this isn't just about semantics. It creates real-world confusion, and it seriously gets in the way of collaboration between the very people trying to defend us online. So to cut through all this fog, the French agency Veganinum, they're the ones who monitor foreign digital interference for France. They've come up with a new framework, and they call it the Information Manipulation Set, or IMS for short. So what exactly is an IMS? Well, think of it as a bucket. It's a way to collect all the shady behaviors, the sketchy tools, and the sneaky tactics that analysts think are all connected to the same source. And here's the key part. It works even if you have no idea who that source is. It's a way of grouping the what, even when you don't know the who. Okay, let's dive into this diagram, because it is really the key to the whole thing. It shows us that information manipulation happens on 5 different levels. Way up at the top, you've got the sponsors. These are the political players setting the agenda. They direct the threat actors, the groups actually carrying out the plan. Now, those actors create and use an information manipulation set, our IMS, and that IMS is then used to run specific campaigns and operations, which we finally see through the digital assets on the ground. You know, the fake websites and social media accounts. So you see, the IMS is that crucial bridge connecting the high-level strategy to the technical stuff we can actually see online. So the most important thing to remember is that the IMS is the tangible thing. It's what analysts can actually see and track and analyze. It's the collection of fake accounts, all those websites, and the repeated tactics that act like a fingerprint for the threat actor who's hiding behind the curtain. Okay, that's the theory. But how do you actually spot one of these things in the wild? Well, Viginum gives us 2 really simple criteria. And for something to be an IMS, it has to pass both tests. The first test is clandestinity, and honestly, it's just what it sounds like. Are the operators actively trying to hide? Are they working to cover their tracks, conceal their real identities, and hide the fact that all their different accounts and websites are connected? It's like they're trying to wear an invisibility cloak. And the second test is coordination. Do all the digital assets, the accounts, the sites, the posts, do they all seem to work together in a synchronized way? If they're all pushing the same message at the exact same time or using the same weird tactics, it's a huge clue that there's a single, unseen conductor leading the orchestra. This table just lays it out perfectly. Doppelganger? Yes, it's an IMS. It's both clandestine, it tries to hide its links to Russia, and it's coordinated. But what about the official Russian government accounts on X? Well, they're coordinated, for sure, but they are not clandestine at all. They openly say who they are. So not an IMS. Same with the Islander media outlet. It's not clandestine because all its platforms share the same public brand. So again, no IMS. It has to be both. All right, let's look at a couple more real-world examples to really see how this framework helps us make sense of actual threats. First up, Spamiflage. This pro-Chinese Communist Party network is a textbook IMS. It passes both tests with flying colors. Its thousands of accounts work really hard to hide any connection to each other and to the state. That's clandestinity. And they post in coordinated waves to amplify certain messages. That's coordination. Classic IMS. But, it's not just state actors doing this stuff. The IMS concept works just as well for private companies, like the Israeli agency nicknamed Team George. These guys have been selling information manipulation services to clients all over the world for years. And check this out. This is a peek at their actual software. It's called IMS. This is the tool they use to manage tens of thousands of fake online profiles for whoever pays them. I mean, their entire business is built on providing clandestine and coordinated campaigns for hire. The whole set of assets they control with this software is a perfect and kind of scary example of an IMS. And for our last example, we've got one that really shows you the analytical power of this concept. It's a complex Russian operation known as Storm 1516, and it's been involved in over 150 different campaigns targeting Ukraine and Western countries. Now, looking at this complex diagram, you can really see the power of the IMS idea. At first glance, Storm 1516 just looks like one massive, confusing blob. But when analysts apply the IMS framework, they can break it down into its separate parts. They can see that this huge operation actually uses several different IMSs for different jobs. For example, one IMS called CopyCop is used for distribution on websites. And then later, a totally different IMS, Locta, is used for amplification on social media. This gives defenders a much, much more precise way to understand and fight back against these sophisticated threats. So after all that, you might be thinking, okay, why should I care about another three-letter acronym? Well, it's because getting the language right here is an absolute game changer for the people trying to defend our information space. By adopting the term IMS, everyone, governments, tech platforms, journalists, researchers, all of us, can finally speak the same language. It gives us a super clear way to tell the difference between a hidden manipulative network and just plain old out-in-the-open propaganda. And it's that shared understanding that allows for faster, more effective collaboration to expose and counter these threats. So, by giving these hidden and coordinated activities a clear, precise name, we've taken a really vital first step. We've gone from total confusion to some real clarity. We can now see the hidden adversary better than ever before. Which, of course, leaves us with the crucial question we all have to face. Now that we can name it, what are we going to do about it?